Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2015 Kia Sedona, but whatever you do, don't call it a minivan. Kia says it's an MPV, a multi-purpose vehicle. And when I go on these press trips, the manufacturer provides us with a lot of information before we drive it. We like to call this segment almost everything you ever wanted to know about the Kia MPV. And that is coming up next on the Fast Lane Car.
What we've seen most is a migration to mid-size CUVs and a move in general to CUVs across the marketplace. But what has remained are established players and very loyal buyers that love the practicality, love the overall function of the vehicle, but really doesn't have a lot of appeal to folks who are interested in image or design and style. And we've seen the segment continue to shrink. Matter of fact, 3 more are going away this year, which means more share for us. And we're really excited about the opportunity that gets in front of us. You know, the segment overall has really been known as a people hauler, and it's been known for utility and space. Currently, it's about 2 out of every 3 vans that are sold in this space are by the Japanese, Honda and Toyota, as Michael had mentioned. Also, the balance, of course, being the Chrysler. And I think we've seen a few other new hints of vehicles coming out. The Transit Connect they showed in Detroit this year. And I think really that kind of frames the opportunity that we see in front of us. We've been at this game before against Toyota and Honda. If you roll back to 2010, we introduced the Optima into a segment that was dominated by the Japanese. And in the pursuing 4 years since we've launched the current Optima, we've just about doubled sales, and we've increased transaction prices almost 40%. And we've done it with a very unique combination of design, technology, safety, and value. And that really is the same winning formula that we're going to apply to this segment to see the same thing. And in fact, we've seen this segment transaction prices over the last 5 years increase 17%. So there's a lot of folks that are still interested in the segment, and if they see the vehicle that they're willing to spend what they want. So we really see this opportunity as a combination between traditional minivan, which is seen as comfortable, safe, capable, and accommodating, and CUVs, which are seen as more sporty, more in control feeling, kind of a melding in between these two, which is what we refer to as a sweet spot. And we tested this idea with the KV7 show car, which was on the circuit a couple of years ago, kind of exploring around the space of what would a people hauler look like if it were combined with a CUV. We got a lot of positive feedback from the circuit, and a lot of that was put into the stunning vehicle that's in front of us today. And it's really to change the perception of what is possible in this segment. For us, what we find is that there's a new group of buyers who typically reject this category, mainly because of design and style. We want to get some of those people back. And it's not necessarily the retirees who are going to Costco or Bingo, although there's probably still some of those out there. It's really the young families that are active, they're involved. They've got other folks at home with them, maybe not necessarily their children, maybe just grandkids if they're empty nesters, or maybe it's antiquing or a 4-legged friend or 4-legged family member. And it's really kind of a bimodal distribution. We see young families who maybe have had their second kid, who need a little bit bigger vehicle, and who are reluctant to move into this space because of the historical design and baggage. And then also, of course, the empty nesters, as I mentioned earlier, who love the category and are interested in looking for something new. What was really interesting for us when we explored this space is to find out that almost half of the buyers that buy these type of vehicles do not even have children at home. So it was that really kind of gave us credence to see that there is a bigger opportunity here. So as product planners, we looked really at about 5 or 6 key areas. First and foremost is the beautiful eye-catching design that you see in front of you. Also, a lot of innovations on the interior, which I'll get into. Innovative seating, premium materials, which we showed last year. If you've been in a new sold, beautiful interior, significant upgraded materials. We've introduced it in the K900 and also the Cadenza. We're bringing some of those ideas into this van. And then also outstanding safety, which of course is important to the segment, but also important to Kia because it's one of our brand pillars. Advanced technology, Henry will be up here in a few minutes to talk a little bit about the UVO technology. And of course, it's a Kia, so there's a tremendous value story. And it all starts with this fantastic design. And I think for us, probably the one thing that we found in the research when we looked at the KV7 was the cues that really brought this idea to life. And working with Peter Schreier, he is adamant, and he's a real stickler for stance and proportion and profile. Those are the three ingredients that he really concentrated on this vehicle. And for us, it's the aggressive lines, of course, the graphic on the side of the vehicle, but if you look at it on the rolling footage and also across the parking lot, the proportion is much different than other vehicles out there in this category. The overhangs are shorter, the profile, the grille is upright and proud and confident. It's a stance that you normally don't see. And other minivans are kind of weak and timid in the front, where this has a lot of confidence. The belt line, we raised the belt line so the ratio between the glass and the body is more in line with what you would see on a CUV. And then also signature details like the grille that we have in the front, our Kia signature grille, xenon headlamps, halo LED positioning lamps, and also available 19-inch wheels. So if you look at the form of the body over the wheels, it has a great stance on it. And Peter Schreier spent a lot of time in the studio to get that athletic, well-planted look to the vehicle. The trend also continued to the interior, where a lot of those same design cues from a CUV were brought into the interior for innovation. One of the first things you'll notice when you get inside the vehicle is we've moved the shifter from the IP down to the center console. And this was a significant move in this category. If you think about other minivans out there in the segment, a lot of the buyers, there's this unwritten rule that you have to have this pass-through that goes to the second row. Well, one of the things that we found out in our studying of folks who have moved out of the space and into CUVs, the first question we asked them was, what about the pass-through? And they said, we've had them before, we never ever go in the back. And usually if you do, you want to pull over to the side of the road so it's safe. And usually also, the center aisle is cluttered with purses, bags, all kinds of other stuff. And we were also reminded that none of the CUVs that everybody's moving into have this space open. So we said the bold idea would be to move all of that stuff down to the center console. That did two things. It opened up this space so we could put this great 8-inch screen for the infotainment system. But more importantly, the graphic on the upper portion, it goes horizontal instead of vertical. And that's two things. Number one, it's more like a CUV. It's very, very similar to the graphic that you see on our Optima, which is this kind of driver-centric cockpit around you. And moving the shifter to the floor, the vehicle just feels a lot more confident when you drive it, and the stance is great. Also, we were able to add a lot of other convenience features. A lot of our research centered around what do you do with all the small items, Kleenex boxes, iPhone, iPad, all this other stuff. Where do you put all this stuff? So we have innovative ideas like two glove boxes, a large center console, and also other small, really clever ideas that you'll see in the vehicles you drive today. I mentioned a few slides ago about the innovative seating. We're introducing for the first time a system that we refer to as slide and stow. And one of the things that we found out in our research is we asked folks, how often do you take the seats out of your minivan? And a lot of them said, well, we tried it one time. They weigh about 90 pounds. It took two of us to get the seat out of there. It sat in the middle of the garage. And then it took us another hour and a half to get the thing back in and latch down. So we just put the seats down and work around it. It's basically what we heard. So we thought to ourselves, that's a great opportunity to innovate in this space. So we worked with one of our suppliers to come up with this really, really clever idea. And here you can see the seat in its normal position. With a pull of a lever, the seat cushion folds up and the seat back, and both of them go right up against the back of the first row seat. And so in a matter of seconds, you can convert from passenger to cargo space with no hassles. And it's a great, great feature. We have a couple of guys that will be at the lunch spot and also out here to demonstrate the feature if you'd like to see it in person. And that did a couple things for us. Number one, it allowed us to add an 8th seat in there. So we have versions that have both 7-seat capacity and also 8-seating capacity. And also, for the first time, the only MPV that has heated second row seats. On our up-level model, we added a new feature, and this is really aimed at those buyers who we've seen the trend moving up over $40,000, who are spending a lot of money on this type of vehicle, who want a very luxurious, high craftsmanship interior, and who are maybe not necessarily carrying around children in car seats, but maybe another couple, and they're going out to dinner or going on a journey. So here we came up with this idea of what we refer to as first-class lounge seating. And here the seats move inward and also recline all the way back, but also moving the tracks all the way to the rear position, giving us the most second row legroom in the segment. We've also added a couple of other new features, a footrest that moves up from underneath the seat, so you can have almost like an ottoman in front of you, headrests that articulate both up and forward, but also will pull around the heads, very similar to what you would see in a business class seat across the Pacific. Also, we incorporated this with premium Napa leather. This is one of the best leathers we could find. A beautiful two-tone effect for overall great interior design. So be sure to check out this second row seat during the drive today. Of course, cargo space and flexible functionality is very, very important. And here, this is an image of the seats pushed all the way far forward as they can go, with both of the side doors open. It's very, very roomy on the interior. A lot of work has gone into moving a lot of the equipment up and out of the way. The cooling unit was completely redesigned to go into the side of the luggage side, and also all the equipment on the other side. Overall, we use this measurement to illustrate this point. Consumer Reports has a test where they get the largest cube, it's a frame-type cube, to put in there and measure that volume, and it's 62.1, which is one of the best in the segment. Using the standard SAE methodology, it's about 142 cubic feet. And this next slide shows a couple of the other features that we've added, which is the innovative storage capacity. Here we have a smart power lift gate. If you have the key fob in your pocket and you stand behind the vehicle for a couple seconds, the vehicle senses it and the door automatically in the rear opens up. And this for us was an innovation one of our engineers came up with after watching a lot of folks come out of Home Depot or the grocery stores loaded with luggage and behind one of the vehicles, moving their foot back and forth, trying to get the door open. So I think this for us was a great alternative to doing a valet in the parking lot. Also a 60-40 split in-floor third row seating. And from a powertrain standpoint, if you've driven our Cadenza and the Sorento, it's the same engine. It's a 3.3 GDI. It's a Lambda series. It replaces the outgoing 3.5 engine with multi-port injection. So a little bit smaller in displacement, but because of the direct injection and the higher compression ratio, we were able to get actually more horsepower and more torque out of it. 276 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque. And for this application in this vehicle, we've added a third stage to the induction system. So it's a variable induction system that normally has two stages. We've added a third one for a little bit more mid-range torque, which is important in this category. And then also made it to our own in-house 6-speed automatic transmission. Because we moved the shifter down between the two, we were able to put in a sport mode feature, which is unique for this category. So you're able to do a lot more manual shifting in hilly conditions. And then also, of course, the biggest benefit that you'll feel today in the ride and drive is a really tough, really rugged and stiff foundation. A lot of work went into accommodating all of the new safety standards which are now coming to market, the small offset, the side impact. And because it was a brand new design from the ground up, our engineers were able to incorporate all of this from the very, very beginning. And using the latest modeling techniques, they were able to optimize the design around some of these, which is a challenging assignment given the overall proportion of this type of vehicle, which has that small front overhang. The overall improvement is body strength and stiffness, which you'll feel today. About a 76% overall percent of high strength and also ultra high strength steel went into the design. And a lot of work went into managing the energy flow during an impact event through the vehicle. And in fact, one of the big payoffs for us was during the testing about a 36% improvement in torsional rigidity over the Honda Odyssey, which up until this point was the best in class. And here's a few examples some of the innovative ways that the engineers were able to incorporate to achieve these fantastic results. The first is a trend in the industry of using a lot more structural body adhesives, which has been a big payoff for us. Also, a couple of neat ideas. They have these ultra-high strength pipes that run through both of the front side members in the lower portion of the cowl and the upper portion of the cowl, and also the same pipes in the A-pillar. So during an impact event, the energy load gets transferred around the vehicle through the sill and up through the A-pillar. And also for the first time, we made the closure and the area around it load bearing by using these pipes. So the energy goes around the passenger compartment, and as a result, we are anticipating a very, very good safety rating when it gets tested by the government. Same story for the side. A lot of work went into the ring around the B-pillar with this ultra-high strength steel, really to create kind of a quasi safety cage around it. We call it ISO body, and it's a really great feature. One of the payoffs that you'll feel today, of course, is the safety aspect, but also the feeling and the level of quality overall. And the perception of quality really kind of is impacted greatly by any kind of noise or intrusion into the vehicle. And here, this new design, this new technology with the steel really pays off in significant amount. To this really strong structure, we've added independent rear suspension, new technology for us, amplitude selective dampers, which basically change the damping forces over a certain type of input, and it kind of helps isolate the vehicle a little bit better. Larger rear bushings to prevent some of that sound coming into the body, and a lot of work for insulation, both in the wheel wells on the floor, and also extra door seals around the sliding doors to prevent some of that sound from coming inside the vehicle. Of course, it's a Kia, so safety always comes standard. There's a whole host of content that comes standard on every Sedona. What we're really excited about is some available advanced safety stuff that content that we brought down from the K900, which was just introduced in our system last year. This includes blind spot detection warning with cross-traffic alert. If you're backing up into traffic, it'll let you know there's a vehicle behind you. Lane departure warning system, advanced smart cruise control, which will monitor the vehicle in front. If traffic comes to a stop and go traffic, it'll bring the car to a complete stop without any kind of driver intervention. Surround view monitor, which is new for us that we introduced in K900 also. There's cameras all the way around the vehicle. When you put the vehicle in reverse, you can see completely around the vehicle during a parking event. Surround view monitor, forward collision warning system, and also vehicle stability management, which works with the electric power steering to manage yaw during a slip and slide event. The technology story also continues with our UVO system. This one is our latest system that includes now a suite of e-services. Henry will be up in a few minutes to go into more detail, but it allows us to do a couple of things. First and foremost, we were able to add a couple of features, geofencing. If you have teenagers at home that are borrowing the car on weekends, you can create a geographic parameter and load it into the vehicle. So if the vehicle moves out of a certain zone, it'll send you an alert. A couple of other ideas, curfew, limit and speed alert. If it's out past a certain time or over a certain speed, you'll also get indications on those two things. So it's a great feature. A lot of technology also goes through, for the first time, a free smartphone app. You can go to, on your smartphone, download a free app, and here it'll interface with the vehicle to provide information on maintenance information. If there's a roadside assistance needed, it'll tell the operator exactly where you're located. The features I mentioned earlier, the geofencing and speed and curfew alerts. And also, we're pairing with SiriusXM to provide real-time traffic data on items such as weather, fuel prices, and other content. And also, for the first time, you can do a Yelp search and also a Google search right through the screen on the infotainment system. So a lot of great technology in addition to the safety. We're going to market with 5 different trim sets on the vehicle, starting off with the L grade, which is our lowest model available. It's very well equipped, starts off at $25,900. That's exactly the same price as the outgoing vehicle. So we're really excited about the fact that we're bringing all this content, value, and upgrades and safety and technology, and holding the line on pricing. The next model up is an LX grade at $28,100. Here it adds a few other features: the 8-way power driver's seat, the Yugo services I mentioned, power folding mirrors, and also a convenience package. Adds the eighth seat in the middle of the second row, both power sliding doors. And then also we have a third grade, which is the EX at $32,100. This one, we expect it probably to be our most popular model. It adds leather seating, 18-inch wheels, auto air conditioning, the smart power tailgate that I mentioned, a push-button system, and also premium package adds some of the other content I mentioned, the blind spot detection, heated seats, and some other content. For the L, LX, and the EX, the mileage on those three models is 18 in the city, 24 on the highway for a combined 20 miles per gallon. To those three models, we're adding two more. The first one is an SX model, which includes at $36,100, which includes navigation, a different set of 18-inch wheels, and also for the first time on this model, premium electric power steering that's rack mounted. So the vehicles you'll be driving today will have that. This allows a couple of other content changes, and also Infinity premium audio sound system, ventilated front seats. And for this vehicle, because of the electric power steering, mileage goes up to 18 in the city, 25 on the highway, and 21 combined. The top model that you'll be driving today is our SXL. Its price is $39,700. All of these prices I'm quoting today do not include the destination and handling, which is an additional $895. This one includes the first class lounge seating that I mentioned earlier. Unique front and rear bumpers. This SXL we have on display here. You can see this beautiful front fascia that has a black glossy on the lower portion and a little bit more aggressive stance, the positioning lights, and some other details that really kind of give it that upscale CUV feeling. This one is by far the best looking of the bunch, and we're very proud of it. This one also has a technology package that some of the content I mentioned earlier, the smart cruise control, the surround view monitor, and some of the other content. So overall, a great story, a combination, as I mentioned earlier, of design, technology, safety, and value that really is going to innovate the segment and bring a whole new energy to this space, and we're really proud of the vehicle. So.
All right, I know that's a little dry, and that's certainly a lot of information, but if you're thinking about buying this vehicle, I bet you that is very useful information. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, everyday reviews. Ciao.